What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. And here we are with the market that is extremely slow and quiet. We are getting a potential little bit of action here in gold, which we might look to sell. I do have a position on crude, which I sold off of this here. Small loser at the moment, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, no trade is over until you close it. And we do have our exit point, but we'll watch this gold and see if it gets a little bit of action. As we come here, it was close before, but I figured, what the hell, I'll wait and see. But the markets are very slow, and it's very much of a challenge right now. You get some pretty big divergences. The Dow and the Russell are exploding higher. The NASDAQ is lower, and the S&P is higher, but not anywhere near what the other two are. But, retail sales are bad. Nobody cares. Okay, the markets want to go higher. That's what we're looking for. You're still waiting for that rate cut, which is not coming, as far as I'm concerned. But again, we're going to see. This does not look like it's going to perform, but we will watch it and see just to make sure. And now my crude is coming down a little bit and is now turned into a little bit of a profitable trade. Again, I know you weren't here, but I did make the trade and I showed you why. Okay, so at least you'll have an understanding if you want to take a whirl at some of this stuff on your own. But volumes are really pathetic and light. That is one thing that is very concerning of this market. That means that there's a lack of overall participation in markets. And a lack of participation really means that it's a lack of opportunity for all of us. And we'll see. And it does not look, I'm going to assume that gold is not going to make it. So let's go and look at our stocks. We can always check back. We've got some time. But if we look at Apple, and again, all we're really looking for now is potential high probability setups. Apple, not so much. Maybe yesterday would have been something to look at. And it's not that it won't get there. But again, right now, with the current conditions, I'm not looking to do anything that is taking any undue risk. Okay. Again, I think that you got to be very careful in these slower market conditions right now. So I think you want to just watch and wait. Amazon, again, bounced off the bottom, still a potential. Sell some put spreads if you'd like. Again, I would like to see come back down again. The opportunity was more yesterday than today. It's already come back a little bit. But again, that's what you're looking for. Some of these higher probability setups as we look at coin. Okay. A little bit overbought. And I would certainly not have a problem selling some call spreads here. Again, really, if you look at the big picture, we're really not much more in consolidation. Certainly, I would think that you probably will see a little bit of retracement. We had a huge move in Bitcoin yesterday, which is directly correlated to coin. So maybe you'd look to sell some call spreads here. Crowd, again, really in consolidation, and it's making a decision whether it wants to break down from here. It has not broken down yet. We had an attempt at a false breakout that came right back in. So really, you're still in consolidation, looking for a potential move here. Again, based on the overall pattern, I would think it would be higher. But again, right here, it is showing some weakness. So we'll have to wait and see. Meta, which we talked about last week, and look what happened. Collapsed, which is exactly what we expected. It was a very high probability setup. Google, just kind of sitting here again. Support is around 185. I'd certainly look at there, potentially sell some put spreads. It's certainly trending higher. Again, these are things that you have to make sure you understand. Let's go just take a look and see if anything did happen with gold while we're waiting. And no, we really didn't get anything to do. Again, if we took a trade here, we'd just be guessing. However, the Russell is a potential. So let's take a look right now at the Russell, as is the S&P. Now, these are not as great or not as good as I'd like to have them when I'm looking for setups. But based on the current market conditions we have, they're what we're working with and what we will be willing to trade should they show. So if we do get a trade in the S&P right now, the stop would be 57.13, but there is no trade. If we do get a trade in the Russell, the stop would be 22.66 if we do get a trade, but we do not have one yet. It's maybe developing here. We're looking for a 1 minute bar close red. So again, that's something that we have to be aware of. And again, the stop in the S&P is 57.13, but there's no trade yet. There's no trade in the Russell either. So again, remember that we're not going to reach, we're not going to guess. We're going to let the market confirm to us to what we think is the right trade at the right time. And right now, neither are qualifiers. Okay. I would think that we'd want to see the S&P down around 57.05 or 57.05 and a quarter, which is like right about here, but it's still got to wait until it closes here. And I'm going to wait one more bar because it was not really where I'd like it to be. I think that is something, again, that you have to remember. Okay. Don't be in a hurry. Better to wish you were in a trade than to wish you were not. It's always something to keep your mind on. All right. And again, we're looking for a potential sale here, but it doesn't look like they're going to come yet. And again, this is what we're watching and waiting. All right. And there's charging higher, which is, it's a good thing because we want to be a seller. So let them keep going up. It doesn't hurt us. We're not in. We're waiting to take the opposite side. So as long as it continues to run, that's great because we're going to sell it when it gives us the opportunity. But right now it is not giving us the opportunity. So we're not selling it. We're just waiting and waiting for opportunity. The Russell would be a sell here, but again, it's not, the bar is not closed yet. Okay. We have to wait for the bar to close and it is closing. So I would take this trade, and your stop I said was 22.66. Okay, and you start to try to buy some back on a little bit of a pullback if you get them, if you get one. Okay, so you probably are filled somewhere around 22.58 and a half. Okay, so 57 and a half. You might try to buy one. Again, depending how many you traded. Okay, that's another story. Your quantities that you're trading. In the meantime, it is a little bit of against us right now, which, hey, that's part of the game. Again, it's not a final trade because it's not over yet. Okay, and let's just see what's happening here in gold. And it looks like we're going to get a potential trade in gold here as well. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of action that could give us some trades. So gold is a confirm that it's going to be, we're going to look at gold. We're not trading it yet, but we're certainly going to look at it. And of course, our stop in gold would be 22.49. I apologize. 22.69. 24.69 is what I'm saying. 24.69. Okay. And again, if it goes down too much further from here before we can get in, then you have to measure the risk that you are going to take and make sure that you're willing to take the exposure. Remember, in these tighter, slower markets, you want to make sure that you're willing to take that, but it looks like we may get there. Okay. So again, the S&P is still going straight up. So again, it's a good thing we decided to have some patience and wait for it. Okay, and that's the key thing I can recommend to you now is to be patient and not be in a hurry to take anything. Okay, gold, no trade yet. No trade yet. But again, it could get there at some point. And that's always what we're waiting for, to see if indeed it does give us the opportunity. Okay, so looks like maybe now may be the time. It may be also the time in the S&P. We're getting close. Now, again, here you have to remember also now, if you're not comfortable trading too much, don't get yourself in too many positions, okay, because you got to manage them as well. Although the stops are automatic, but the internal management, what you're going to do is something that you have to watch for. But gold is certainly going to be a trade with a stop at 22.69. Okay. 22.69 stop. Always make sure to get your stop set first before you do anything else. And now, of course, we're coming down. And you should be out of, if you took the trade with me, you should be out of one already. And now you can take your stop back to break even and let it run in your favor. So now that trade is virtually guaranteed profitable. Now the only question is how much will it be profitable by? Okay, and we're still waiting for an opportunity in the S&P to take that, and the Russell is against us right now. So we'll see how it works out. Again, one of the things about using the correct stop is that you don't have to worry. If it gets stopped out, well, there's another trade coming. Okay. And let's just see if we're getting a potential add-on. No. Okay. You should be out of your second one in gold. So now you have a nice $3 profit. Again, depending what you're trading, 30 to 300 locked in, plus what you've already got locked up here as well. So you're in pretty good shape. Okay. And of course, we continue to see the S&P go higher, as does the Russell, which is again against us at the moment. And it's unfortunately not giving us another potential trade. I'd like to add on to it, but again, I will never add on unless it gives me a reason to add on. But the S&P is certainly going to be a potential trade with a new stop at 57.20. 57.20 if we get a trade, but we still don't have it, and the stop may go higher yet. And gold is still working okay, and we're still in, and we still have a minimum of about, again, $35 to $350, depending on which size you're trading. Okay. So once again, we just sit here and we're waiting for opportunity. Crude, the S&P 57.13 or below, I think would be a worthwhile shot at it. But we're still not there yet. We need it to come down a little bit further. And we still have to wait the time. So we'll see. Okay, so it will be a trade if it stays down here. Okay, and another few seconds. Okay, you can take it if you want to play. Okay, and the stop, as I said, will be 57.21. Okay, and we are still in our gold, although it looks like it's probably going to stop us out here pretty quick, but that'll be a profitable trade done. Should it get there? And of course, you should be working your orders in your all right, stopped out of gold complete. Okay, with a profit. Okay, now we're working to buy back some of our S&P should it drop so we can get some profits off of this. Okay, and okay, you should have one of your S&P should be off at $1.50 profit. Okay, so that's again, that's depending on the size of your contract, you should have $75 profit or more, or a little bit less. Again, it just depends on your size. Second one should be off. Okay, so you have another profitable trade there. Okay, so now you're going to take your stop and go to break even. Okay, because again, now we've got the lead, so we're just going to make sure that we don't give back the profits, and we've got them locked up, and now we've got, again, $300 or so. Depending on your size, 30 to 300 is what you should have or more. But again, I don't know if any trades bigger than that, but that should be about what you have locked up right now. And of course, now the Russell's coming back towards us. Maybe it'll continue to come down and help us out here. We're not getting anything else to do. Okay, I would take your trade in your S&P and lock in another $2 profit. Okay, you can lock that up right now, which would make the trade about $400 or $40. Again, everything depends on size that you're trading. But I would go ahead and make sure I lock that up, and now I'm going to leave it alone and try to let it run for a while before I adjust again. the next time I'll adjust my stop if it comes down to 57.04. Okay, we sold at 57.12. So we're in a nice position here. And let's see what's happening. And of course, now the Russell's starting to come down a little bit for us as well. So maybe we can get, some profits out of that. Okay. And I know we should be looking at some other charts, but we do have open trade, so I don't want to take us away from here. Although normally I wouldn't watch as closely because I already know what I've got. I've got my stuff set up, but since I'm trying to teach it as well, we'll see. And we're now back to about break even on your Russell. So maybe they can take us down a little bit further and get us out of a couple. And then we can lock in a profit there as well and make it a nice little morning. Okay, so we sit and wait and watch and look for opportunity. All right, we're still waiting for the S&P to get down to 57.04 so we can make another adjustment. Waiting for the Russell to drop a few ticks more from here to get us out with a profit. Again, important to understand what you're trying to accomplish or not looking. All right, so you should be out of one of your Russell, and now you can go to break even on your stop. Okay, and now you've got that locked up for a few bucks. And you've got no risk. So right now you've got two open trades with no risk. Okay. And you've already cashed in a few, again, depending on the size you're trading, you got a profit. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to talk about numbers because I don't know what size you're trading. So now we got everything locked up. We got profits locked up. So let's go see everything else that we can look at here while we're waiting. IWM, I would certainly sell in the money call spreads. I'm stopped out of the Russell. Okay, with a small profit. Okay, and let's see what happens here if the S&P. But I would certainly sell. I would sell deep in the money call spreads here for Friday. Okay, this is a straight blow off. This is going to come down at some point. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow, but it should come back down before Friday. You cannot extend a market that parabolic without it kind of having some sort of a pullback. I think this is a no-brainer. Okay. Moderna just sitting. But as we said the other day, it looked like this was potentially making a bottom. And you are getting a little bit of move here, but there's really not much to trade here right now. Microsoft, again, reached, which we thought, came down. I think it's probably going to go a little bit lower. Looks like the trend is changing there. Nugget is, again, very similar to IWM. I would be looking to sell spreads here as well. Deep in the money call spreads, trying to create a synthetic put. I think that's the opportunity that you're looking for. Again, this is going to have a little bit of a pullback, even if it's going higher. And again, remember, these are not lifetime achievement trades. These are trades that are either a day or a couple of days. Okay. We're looking at Friday right now. So certainly I would certainly expect some sort of a pullback between now and then, and would be happy to take that trade. Okay. Hold on one second. Now, where are we at here? Okay. NVIDIA, kind of just in the middle of nowhere. Really not much to do here. So at the end of the day, okay, we had a nice little morning trading. Okay. And I think that that we're, this is what we're trying to do. We have a little bit of action. We have some things we can do looking forward. And until Thursday, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.